Guys don't know me, it's Heather Boyd. I usually do live streams on Heather Boyd Wire, but we're going to do some art tonight. We are going to watercolor paint some cards. I have a local gallery that carries my work, the Viva Vida Art Gallery, so I'm going to work on some cards for that. If you guys want to paint along with me, and if you want to show me photos of what you're working on, you can always message them to me on Facebook at Heather Boyd Wire. And other than that, I think we're just going to get going. I'm going to use some of my favorite paints. This is a Stuart Semple palette that was given to me by my friend Allison, and it's a little worse for wear. It's running low on some colors, but I'm going to use this palette. We're going to start from scratch and tape down our paper, and I'm going to use some fancy brushes that my friend Amber gave me, which are these, what do they call it again? I'm going to look up the name, but these are these fancy fine point brushes with the little tips. They are Fumui brushes. So they're like fat at the bottom and they have a sharp tip at the top. So we're going to use those. I'm going to flip my screen so I can get it centered right on the on my table. So bear with me while I do that. I'm going to have to flip. There's my ceiling. We're going to have to flip the screen. I'm going to bring it over a little bit. I might have to adjust this. It's a little bit crooked, so let's just figure out all of that first. We should have a level on this thing to see. No, it has to be up a little bit more up level. Okay, I think that's good. That's pretty straight. Good, so, and then I'm gonna pull up the video on my channel so I can see what we're working on and see if anybody hops on. Let us see. So we've got the channel, your channel, and we are live, it says. Make sure the sound's off. I think so. Excellent. Perfect. So I can see the chat if anybody wants to chat. I'm going to make sure that everything's lined up. I have my rag. I have my water. You guys can see that. And I have my paper that I've already cut some of it. And I'm going to put my palette over here so you could see it a little bit. And then set up my... I guess I could have given myself a little bit more room. I could put the tripod up a bit, but let's see how it goes. I could always move the tripod, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and prepare our paper. So I like to buy the big sheet, like the, I don't know, 24-inch, 24 by 30, I think it is, and then I just tear it into these nice pieces that I can use for my cards. So I have a few that are already cut. This one we're going to use. And basically what I do is, oh, we can see my whole thing. That's good. So basically, oh, it's got drawn on the back, but that's okay. So I just keep folding it until I get into a little piece that I can use on a card. So I'll put it, I will attach it to a card on the, I usually buy the cardstock from Michael's, and it comes with an envelope. So we have those. So we have, so far we have 3. I think I could fit 6 up on this paper. So let's go ahead and just keep cutting these pieces until they're ready. And if you hear noise in the background, it's my heat coming on, but I have a feeling you might not be able to hear it on your end, which would be great. So we're just going to do this and keep going until we have all of our pieces. I'm going to tear it. You want to really score it well so you get a nice straight line. And I'm going to do all kind of Valentine's themed stuff. I'm also going to do a couple that have a plain-ish background, and I'm going to do a crocheted wire heart. So I don't know if I'll do some of the wire stuff on this channel or not. Let's see how much painting we get done, and if we get enough painting done, and I want to start doing the wire, because I always put wire embellishments on my painting. So if we have time, I will, after I'll get my wire and do that, because then you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. And in any case, whatever I don't finish, I'll put pictures in the community section. So we're going to go ahead and we have our pieces, and then so I just lay them out and tape them down. So I think we can fit 6. So we'll do 6. Of them I like to work on several at a time. Just it's more efficient, and I'm going to go ahead and tape them down. So I get some masking tape, not too wide. I have bought wide tape, and then you end up having to cut the wide tape in half. So it's better just to do it this way. Go ahead, and then you want to place it down so it's about 1/4 inch. Okay, about that. Let's move it up a little bit more, and then you want to leave a bit of a gap in between each one. Whoopsies. And just kind of eyeball it. If this is too tricky to line them up, just cut shorter pieces and do them individually. So I do that, and then this one we just slide in, so it also goes 1/4 inch. Just slide it in there, try to line that up, and then this one too, we'll just slide it in there. And I have tutorials on how to do this and how to do watercolor and stuff like that, so you can always check out the playlist of watercolor tutorials to get an idea of how to do all this stuff. And then also I recently did a tutorial on how to use the Fumui brushes, and they're really cool. It's a very different kind of brush. I've never seen anything like it, and they have tutorials. Other artists have tutorials. In fact, I think the Fumui company sent out brushes to some of the art influencers, but I'm not an art influencer, and I actually hadn't heard of them, and my friend Amber gave them to me for Christmas, so that was nice. Thank you, Amber. And I appreciate that because they're really fun. Yeah, it's a learning curve, but it's they're fun to use. Something different. Okay, so let's get all these taped down. Now it's worth it to take the time to do this because this will prevent your paper from buckling, and also when you remove the tape, it makes a really nice border. So it's worth it to do this. Take the time and tape it down. Try to get them as even as possible. Okay. And like, say that doesn't line up, just tear it and then fix it like there. So, oh, and if one side's longer than the other, switch it around. Easy. There. Okay, so we got that. Now, let's do the other bits of tape. Now, I'd like the top border to be a little shorter, like smaller, so all around this is about the same, and then the bottom, sometimes I do it a little larger, but if it doesn't turn out like that, that's fine, because it looks like we're not going to have that much space on the bottom one, but that's fine. It's about even. I could have done the paper a little closer, but it's totally fine. So let's go ahead and do the bottom and the top, and then we can get going with our painting. I think we're going to zip through these. I might need to do a whole nother panel of 6 because I think we're going to end up booting through this and have extra time. So I would like to stay on the live stream for about an hour at least. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to go like that. Okay, so we've got that. And then the other thing was, I thought I had a spray bottle. Let me just check if I have the spray bottle because it's handy. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay, I'll just get some water in the spray bottle. Okay, so I have my little bottle of water because it's always good to activate your paints. So let's go ahead and get our paints. This is the Stuart Semple brush. Oh, it got a little bit of fuzz on it, so forgot to be careful. Yeah, I probably should order another palette of these, but these are really expensive. I think they're about $80, but they're really good paints. So we're gonna go ahead and just activate the paints by spraying them. So there's that palette, and then the other palette I have is a palette that I used to use when I was teaching art at La Palette in Montreal. So these are like another set of colors that are pretty standard. There's the Payne's Gray that I use a lot, and this kind of magenta color. I definitely use those a lot. Yellow Ochre. This is Burnt Umber, I think, or that's Burnt Umber. That's something else. That's Burnt Umber, and this is, what's that brownie orange color? Oh man, I have a brain fart. Yellow Ochre, Burnt Umber, and somebody tell me, I forget what it's called. Okay, so now let's do some, the first one I want to do, is that the first one I want to do, is just a simple background for a crocheted heart. Let's do that one first. And that one's very typical of the stuff I do for the gallery. So what I would do is I'm just going to wet that a little bit. And then I'm going to get a brush and get some water on my brush and get some of the Payne's Gray. But it looks like there's a hair in there. What the heck? Maybe it's a cat hair? I don't have a cat, so I don't know what that is. So we're going to just get some of the Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is like a nice kind of cool, like, I would say almost bluey gray. It's not really blue. And then we're just going to like kind of, I like how it just kind of does a little, like a little bleed thing on there. So this is just to have a very abstract background when I put when I do the crocheted heart. So we're just going to play with this a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. That's the thing. I really don't want to overdo it, so we're going to see what happens. And maybe I won't end up using this one, I'm not sure. But the idea is just to play around with it. We want it to kind of bleed together, but we don't want to overwork it. That's the thing. Because you want it to look kind of like abstract, but not like kind of muddy and overworked, but I also want it to look a little bit balanced. So this is the tricky part with abstract, is to make it look like kind of like unintentional, but you know, it's hard to like do intentional abstract work, but you want it to look a little bit more free and flowing. Like I like this type of thing, these kind of what they call the moments in there where it bleeds and stuff. Those are kind of cool. And then you can do like, maybe I need it to come up a little bit more there. I'm not sure, we're going to see. But you can see when you add the water to the Payne's Gray, it brings out the blue in the Payne's Gray. So you could really see the blue in the Payne's Gray. Now I really don't want too much. I still want to see the white of the paper. That's the thing. So I'm drying my brush. I'm bringing this in. And I'm trying to lift some of the paint so it's just not too much. Okay, we're just going to kind of remove that a little bit. So if there's hairs, take them out too. So that's kind of cool. You know, I don't want to overwork that, so I'm going to leave that there, and then we'll go in later and we'll do the crocheted heart. So that's good. We're good to go with that one. We're going to leave that one, and now we're going to do some more experimenting. The other thing I did last time I did a set of cards is I used this brush, which is like a 1-inch flat brush, and I had a lot of fun doing some landscapes with that. I don't have them on me, but they turned out really well. You know what I'm going to do is get my iPad so I can show you guys those ones. I'll just go grab it now. iPad, and I'm going to, whoops, sorry. I posted some pictures in the in my Heather Boyd Art Facebook page, so let's have a look and see at those. And Facebook, okay, and I'm just gonna go there. So if you guys are interested in art and want to join the Facebook page, you can. I'm just gonna look for the photos and find them. I'll just scroll down a bit. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so this is the Facebook page, and I did post this series, my last series of paintings. Let's bring it up a little higher. So here's a tree on a very abstract background. Now I have, like I said, I have a lot of tutorials for things like this with the abstract. And then I like to put wire embellishments on top. So this is a finished piece. And then we have, this is what I'm talking about. I used the wide brush, and I just did to be the sky. And then I went in, and I think I even used the Fumui brush for the trees and stuff. So I think I did use the Fumui brush for those. And just a liner brush to do some of the grass. And see, even the grass is done with this brush. Let me know if you guys want a tutorial for the landscapes with the brush. But see, this is kind of cool, just with the wide 1-inch brush. It's kind of neat. This one's a little more watery. You can see the colors are fainter and they're bleeding together. And then this one's even more watery and bleedy. It looks kind of like it's raining or reflections or something. And then this one I did the bottom a little bit like that, but the sky was a little more loose. So that's it. So that shows you a little bit of what I was doing with the 1-inch brush. So why don't we go ahead and do some stuff. Okay, so I wanted you to be able to see my palette too. So let's move this over a titch. Zoop. And this one over a titch. And see if you guys can see that. And then I'm going to keep my other palette out on standby in case I need it. Bring my computer over so I can see it. So that should be pretty good. Yeah, you can kind of see the palette. I'm bringing it over a little more. Got my water. You might not be able to see, but that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and wet my brush. I'm going to wet the brush and then get some of the paint. So I'm going in and I'm getting some of this. Now I don't have what color it is, but Stuart Semple gives his paint colors really unusual names. So these two I'm not even sure what they're called, but they're more, I would call them more in the magenta family. Now, if you want, you can kind of like mix a bunch of colors first. So if you want to work quickly, you have them mixed up. Oh, you can't even see that color, what I've done. Let's bring it over a little bit. Okay, let's do some purple. So we can, grab some purple, bring it over here. And we'll get a little bit of purple. And you want it to be pigmented enough. Now, here's a little weird hair coming out. So sometimes the quality of your brushes, you want to watch that if they have hair falling out of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix some purple so we have it here. And I might even fill the whole page with these little fun little strokes. We're going to see. Trying to grab some, this is kind of a bluey purple, I guess, in here. So we're going to go ahead in there and get a bluey purple. And I don't really work with white or black, so I just want to get these colors. And then maybe, I know this blue is quite nice. Oh, that's a little dark. Maybe let's try a little lighter. Maybe this color. I almost should, you know what I should almost do is just save that brush and get a smaller brush that's actually going to fit in those little sections, because right now, that's what I did with the Fumui brushes last time. I didn't use the Fumui brushes to grab the paint because I found with the pointy end, it was hard to get in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab some of this I should do these live streams more often because I often paint these cards and I just do them on my own time, but it's fun to be on YouTube. And then if anybody wants to see my process after, that's great. And you know, if you want to chat, wonderful. If you don't want to chat, that's totally fine. So I'm just going to keep mixing up some color. There's this one too. That's really cool. Oh, this is almost more blue. It's more blue than I thought it was because it was mixing with the purple with that thick brush. Okay, so we're just going to do that. We'll get a bunch of paint. And then now we can go in with our brush. Okay, let's get a little more there. This is going to maybe be a really bit opaque, but why don't we just go in and just kind of do, this is what I did before. I just kind of did this type of thing, just all over the place. Now I'm going to clean my brush, dab a little bit of the extra water out, and then go again. Okay, and I'm not going to worry too much about perfection. You want some strokes to be longer than the other and some to be shorter. So we've got that like that. Okay, and then we're going to go in. You can clean your brush or not. You don't have to clean your brush. So let's go in and get some other colors. That one wasn't that opaque. So let's go to maybe get some blue. Good. I'm just kind of playing with it. And you could let these dry in between colors if you want, or if you want them to bleed together, don't clean your brush in between and don't let it dry. Just go for it. So we have that so far. Now I'm going to clean my brush again. Chat discontinued. Huh. I think it's back. Okay. So let's just see. We're going to go here. I'm going to try to get a little bit more of this one. Okay. I'm going to go back and get some more of the red maybe. Try this one. I'm just going to do a little bit more because I'm not sure if I want to like cover all the white or not. I think I do though. I think I want to cover all the white, but I'm not sure. But maybe what I could do is try after just to, I'm just going to actually clean my brush, have like remove all the paint from my brush. Okay, and just, well, maybe not too much. Well, now it's like a little bit, my bristles were separated, so I put them back together. So what if we just go in like that to kind of go over that. But maybe we don't want all the white covered. Here, I'm going to try to dry this. And these are often like very experimental when I do this type of work. So, and then if your square brush is too big, just clean your other brush, dry it off, and you can go in and maybe you can pick up some of the stuff, pick up some of the extra paint. Like say that's too stark, you can just go in, but maybe that one was too wet now, so I'm going to just pick it up like that. Okay, and then this too, you can clean it. You can like kind of do this to bleed it in a bit, but then dry your brush and pick up that extra stuff. Yeah, it's all in the experimentation. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm just taking away these really stark white bits. But that's optional. If you like the white bits, if you like the crispness of the white bits, keep them. It's totally fine. Like whatever you think works. I kind of like the way it almost looks like it's glowing, since I kind of like made it less like contrasty type of thing. Like if I just add a bit of water, a little water, little water, little water, little water, little water, and then dry your brush and go in and pick it up. Okay, it just makes it kind of interesting. in any case, I am going to put something wire on top of it, so this is going to be a background. This isn't, we don't really need a focal point because I will be doing wire on top. Okay, so we're going to do that, like a heart or something. Okay, so I see one more little thing in the middle. Okay, and then we're going to like dry the brush and pick it up. Okay, and then this one too, this one. I don't know what happened here. It got a little bit, this part, it's a little dark, but that's okay. You know what? I don't want to overwork it too much. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it like that. There's a little couple strong things of white there, but that's fine. Now let's play around with our fumi brush to see if we can make some hearts. And what size do we want? I think I want a decent size. So we have these sizes. Look at all the different sizes. This one came in a set of 6. So we have all of these sizes. Okay, so we have all of these sizes of brush. And maybe we'll go with, we could try a bunch of different ones, but I am going to mix my color first. So let's go ahead and I'm going to bring this around so you can see it. We're going to mix more of the kind of the fuchsia thing in here, and this one maybe down here. They're a little bit different, not a whole lot different, but a little bit different. And then again, maybe we do want some purple over there. So we're going to just mix some purple and maybe some of this like cool blue. I don't know what color, but it's not really royal. It's almost royal. It's almost ultramarine. Maybe it is ultramarine, but he wouldn't call it that. Okay, so now let's wet our fumi brush. Okay, we're just gonna wet that and bring it in here. Okay, we're just gonna saturate the brush a little bit. Okay, with the, see it's got the end. So how do you make a heart? I didn't really make a heart before. I kind of made like a, ooh, that doesn't look like much. I kind of made a flower that looked like that, but I'm not even sure if this is going to make a good heart or not. We're going to see, because if you do like that type of thing, it's kind of like a heart, but also not really. So you'd almost have to, I'm just resting my arm on my water dish. But what if we just went around after with this end? My hand's a little shaky, so that could be age or it could be coffee, so I'm not sure. When I draw my comics, my hands shake a little bit too, but I do drink a fair amount of coffee, so it could be that. Okay, so we've got that. Let me dry my brush and just get a little water in there. Okay, I'm going to see if I can kind of blend it in a little bit. Okay, we're going to do that. I'm going to blend it in with a little water. The other thing we could do, we could get some salt and some saran wrap and stuff to do the hearts. That would be nice. Okay, so I'm going to just bring that up here. I'm just going to play around and do some hearts. Maybe I'll make a whole thing of like hearts here to see how it goes. So that's a fun experiment. Whoop. That's a little bit, bring that up a little bit more. Okay. So that's cool. And then let's just go ahead and get our other brush, maybe to lift up some of that color. I feel like we should lift a little bit up. Okay, just give a little bit more, a little too much. And we're going to just come around and lift it up. And then, like I said, if you have some salt or some alcohol, you can do a little bit of texture. Okay, And then if you want, you can add some other colors too. We can go in with some purple maybe. And just add it on there. Watercolor is so fun. You just play around with it. Okay. And maybe add a little bit down here. I'm just playing around with it. I'm not too worried. And then if you need more of the red, you can go in, you can dab them together. And I think I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get some salt. We can play with that. Maybe not with this one, maybe with the next one. Okay. A little more red. And just play around. It's kind of cool. You can make it kind of dotted and fun. So that's fun. So let me get the, I have to find where I put the salt. And I could do some alcohol too, but the salt's probably the easiest. Just have to find it. Easier for me to go to the kitchen and get the salt there. Okay. Okay, so I have big and fine salt over here. And I also want to try something where you just block out the area first. That's another thing you can do, is you can just like kind of draw a heart like that. Okay. Okay, and then you can go in with some color and you just kind of make a tie-dye thing like that. And it's, in theory, it'll just bleed to the side. Trouble is my palette seems to be on a bit of an angle, so it's kind of going, but see, like if you go, it's hard to know exactly how close to the edge to go, but if you go close to the edge, it won't, like it'll stay within that edge to form your heart. So, but it's hard to know like how close to the edge you can go. So these are just different ideas. Like I'm trying to go close to the edge without, you know, going on the paper that's wet, dry, and it kind of swirls around and makes a bit of a, almost looks like a little marbly effect or something. That's kind of cool. I like it. And then if you just have too much, you just lift it a bit. Okay, so you can clean your brush, dry it, lift it. So that's cool. It's like a little tie-dyed heart. So there's, yeah, lots of things you can do with the hearts. So we've done the fancy brush. We've done some like tie-dye wet. This would be wet on wet is the official term for that. And then if we want to do salt. So I'm going to go ahead and just get some salt in my hand to get it ready. Okay, we're going to just grab the salt. This is the coarse salt, and then you could use fine salt if you want, but this is the coarse salt. It's just, yeah, just like that. Okay, and then we can go ahead. Maybe I'll get a thinner brush, get a little more control over it. This is a nice brush. So now I'm going to mix a little more water. Make some more color. Make some more purple, I think. I'm kind of using the same colors here, but I like this dark one too. Okay. So now, if we want to just go ahead and form your heart. I'm not going to worry too much about the shape. And then we're going to just do some. And then I'm going to clean my brush and get some blue. But we want it like wet. We have to work pretty quickly, so. And we also don't, we don't want too much water. And like I said, I feel like my thing is my paper is on a slant, but we're gonna do what we can. So we're just kind of dabbing down different colors here. And then you can go ahead and do your, salt if you want. But you have to leave it there because you can also use saran wrap. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go like that. So we've got our salt, and then the fine salt is different. It will have a different effect. So I'm gonna get a bit of this fine salt, and sometimes the fine salt doesn't work as well because it just it doesn't really show that much, but you can try it. So let's maybe mix some different colors this time. Let's get some blue. No, let's get some. I think this blue would work. You guys can't really see what I'm doing, so I get a bit. This is a kind of a nice blue. Okay. I like that blue. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some hearts up here. Do like that. You could just do like that. Do wiggle and up. Oops, went too far maybe. And then wiggle and like that to make the heart. It's a little shaky. Around here we go. You can just make it one color too. Like that. Yeah, my thing is definitely on a bit of a an angle, sorry. And then we can just put some salt and see if that does anything. There. I think it was maybe too wet there, but that's okay. Okay, so those are fun. And the other thing you can do is you can make a bunch of these hearts and you can cut them out. That would be cool too. You can just cut them out and use them for collage. So let's do another heart and see which way we want to do it. Okay, I'm going to get some of this. I'm going to get my square brush again. Oh, the square brush is losing its things. So what if we just use the square brush to do like that and that, that and that. I don't know if that would work or not. Let's see. Like that. And then we can get this brush and do kind of like this wiggle thing. I'm trying to think of a way to, like a good way to make easy hearts. We can do this and just kind of wiggle it around to make it round. There we go. That's kind of cool. And they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be even on both sides. I think I got some salt in there. So that's right. I'm just going to go like that. And maybe we could get a little more salt. Just a little bit. All right, just a little bit on there. So we've got a few of the hearts, which are really fun, and then maybe we could do some little hearts. Little hearts. Okay, we'll get the littlest brush from the Fumui, and then we're going to, I don't know if the chat is working or not, but if you're there, maybe you could just type in the chat. And then I know the teacher was going to watch, but I can always check my DMs and see. The teacher, if you're trying to chat and you can't, let me check my DMs and see if you're on, because I don't usually go live on this channel. So I'll have to check if anybody is actually watching. I don't think so. I'll just double check. No messages. Okay, so that's fine. I'm just going to keep yammering away and see what happens. So let's just get a little bit more pigment on the brush. I don't want too much. And then what if we make like little hearts with this brush? See, it doesn't really make a heart shape. It makes more like a kind of a flower shape, like what you call that part of the flower. It's a little bit strange. I mean, kind of. It looks very organic, but you see it's like very heavy on the pigment down here. And then up there, it's very light. But it's interesting, and you can kind of fill it in a bit too with the tip of the brush. Okay, it's not too bad. I'm just going to clean my brush a bit. It makes an interesting shape. It's very dark down here. And I might try that. I might try it again. I might do a whole other panel with using the Fumi brushes for the hearts. Because look, it's not horrible. Like the end should be a little bit more defined, I think. I've got a lot of pigment on the end. I'm not sure how, but I've got a lot of pigment on the end. A little too much pigment. But the tip, you see, is so cool because you can really get a nice sharp bend. And then if you have too much there, I don't know what happened there. It got really spread out. There, we can kind of got a weird texture on there, but that's all right. You know what I might try to do is I'm going to try to push this back a bit. And I'm going to try to focus a little more, bring the camera in a little bit more so we can actually see. There is a delay. There is a delay here. I wonder if I can bring that up here. No, that's not going to be good. Let me bring this up. So I could, I'm so silly. I could just move the easel or the tripod. And I'm going to actually bring that up a little bit more. So we're going to be a little closer and a little more focused, but let's wait until the camera stops and we're going to see where we're at with that. Because I pulled the, yeah, okay, that's better. So you can see it a little bit more. Let's bring a little more towards me. So over here, we'll work on that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and with the Fumi brush again, working with the small one. We could work with a little bigger one too, but maybe we'll do the next size up. We can try it. Oh, it's got dust on it. I don't know how that happened. Okay, so let's go ahead and mix a bit more of that. But I think the issue was the base. The base had a little too much pigment. So let's see if we can fix that and bring this one around. And interesting. And no, it wasn't that part that had too much pigment. It was the bottom part. That was the issue. But let's go around now and get some pigment. No, it's not much on there. Okay. because I found this part was dry. I'm going to bring this one around. See, there's a little bit of a itty bitty hair there. I might have to go for the smaller brush too. This one seems to be a split end. We're going to go around and around. There we go. One. Bring that around. And then I'm going to clean my brush and just blend it out a little bit. I feel like I'm getting a lot of pigment down here. So let's go ahead and take our brush and try to lift a bit of it up. That's okay. That's now the other thing I could do is block out an area and do the heart. Like if you had some drawing gum or something, you could like block out a bit of an area, and you can draw like heart stuff around it. So, but maybe what we'll do is, why don't we do a bunch of hearts in the background? So I'm going to just take this. Okay, I'm going to just take this. I might get my other palette too. And we don't need it to be super even, but I'm going to just try to do a bunch of hearts and then see. We're going to let them dry before we do some on top of another. But let's just do a bunch to start. Okay, it's just a basic heart. And then we could dip this up. And do it like that. Get that off. Just a bunch of hearts. Now they can be flat. You can make some texture in them. Whatever you feel like. Okay, we're going to do that. And let's just do a few of them of different sizes. Okay, we're going to do another one here. And then I'll let that dry. I'll work on another one, and then we'll go back to this one after. I'm just going to do a bunch of hearts. On the outside. Take some paint off and go around again. There we go. Oh, that works. Has a little bit of depth to it. I started from the outside and I went in, but you can also try it the opposite way and go from the inside out. So let's try that. Oops, that's not the right brush. Let me find another little brush. This one's pretty little. Okay, so we're going to wet that one. Get that one, and then we're going to try another one where we go. Oops. We'll start from the inside. Okay. Well, it didn't end up being really small. Okay, just clean that off a bit. I think it's better if you start from the outside and you go in, yeah, because this isn't doing much. Yeah, if you start from the outside and go in, I think it's better. But it doesn't matter because I'm really going to just layer these after, so it doesn't really matter if they're perfect because we're going to put more hearts on top. Okay. Okay. And let's do another one. And they don't all have to be straight up and down either. And some can be larger, some can be smaller. And we're going to go like this. So after that, I'm going to go ahead and do another one of those because I really liked it. So let's do another one of those. I'm going to move this over a little bit. I'm going to mix up my colors so I have them all ready to go. Go like that. I'm going to mix up some purple. Purple. And then I'll mix up some of that nice ultramarine blue. Ultramarine blue. And then the other thing I wanted to do is to go into this one because I really like that magenta on this palette. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up that one. I just find it's a really nice color, and this one it doesn't have little bits in it like I do on my other, for some reason on the other palette I got little bits in it. It might be dust. Okay, so we're going to go like that, and we're going to mix up some paint. Okay, so now let's go ahead in with our 1-inch brush again. So we have our 1-inch brush, and I'm going to have to get this out of the way, I guess. And then I'm going to go ahead, clean it, and I'm going to bring this over here so it's not shadowing. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this nice paint from my old palette. And then just do like we did before. I'm just going to go in. Some are long, some are short. Now I could let this dry and go over it after, which is what I did before. So let's do both ways, okay? Okay, we're gonna do some where we let it dry, and then some where we just go in. I don't know what that was. It looks like there's a bit of like alcohol or something on it. I'm not sure. This one is the one we're gonna go wet because there was a little splooch of something in there. Okay, perfect. Some should go off the page too. Okay, so now let's clean our brush and get some of that nice ultramarine. So we're gonna go in and just go in, and even if it's wet, it's fine. It's good actually when it's wet. Okay, and then we're going to clean the brush and dry it and get some purple. Okay, we don't want it too wet, but we also don't want it too dry. We do want them to kind of spread together. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to go get this darker blue that I quite like. So I'm just going to make sure that I mix in enough of it. Okay, so this is like a darker blue, but it's not super saturated. So we're just going to go in. And I'm going to try to like cover all the white parts this time, because last time I kind of went in and had to do it like again type of thing, but if we go in and try to cover all those parts, and then I'll go back to the first one after it's a little dry, and we're going to see what we can do. And I'm just going in with just gonna kind of clean my brush a bit, but still have it a little bit damp, and then just go in a little bit. There's no right or wrong, eh? Like whatever you feel like doing. You can even go sideways. We didn't do that yet. Okay, so let's do some sideways strokes. Mostly I did vertical, but we can do sideways. There we go. But now I need to lift a bit of that paint, I think. There. Okay, leave a little spot in there. What that spot's doing. A little spot there. And like that. That's cool. I like it. I think that's going to make a fun background for the Valentine's cards. That was sort of my idea, was to go ahead and do something like this for the Valentine's cards, and then I'll actually drop them off at the gallery tomorrow. So we have that. Now let's go back to these ones, the hearts. I might have to clean my brush at some point, so I'm going to move those. And let's get our brush, and why don't we do some purple hearts. Okay, so I've got a nice pointy brush. We're going to mix up some purple. I don't know how saturated we want it. Let's try it. Okay, so we're going to do maybe a purple. See, it's got this. Do I have scissors? Let me cut that. I have a little weird point on this. I'm going to take my glasses off. I'm going to just like clip it. But I'll do it off here so we don't. Oh, it actually wasn't. Oh, I don't know what I did here. I cut it a little too much. Okay, we're gonna see if that's gonna work. Okay, I just trimmed it a bit. So now, let's do some more hearts. And if we go over that heart, it shouldn't bleed because it's dry. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe we could do something like this where we superimpose hearts, but they're dry, so they shouldn't bleed together. Okay. Let's get that. Okay. So let's do a few purple ones, and then we'll go over to that one there. Okay, do another purple one. Doesn't have to be too saturated. Come around here. Okay, and do another purple. Let's do a few of them. There we go. My friend Allison used to love purple. Amber loves purple too. Purple hearts. Yeah. Today I'm sending out my love to Allison's family because her mommy passed away this morning, and went to meet Allison in the great beyond. So she was 96 years old. So big hugs out to Bibi, who became Pat's surrogate daughter and was taking care of her, and she lived a long, beautiful life. So we're going to make these hearts in her honor and in Allison's honor, and just keep them in our hearts. So there we go. We're going to keep doing these hearts around and around. There we go. Nice. Because these first hearts are dry, they're not going to bleed, so there won't be bleeding hearts. We're just going to be layered hearts. Oh, I'm going to sneeze too. Excuse me. There we go. Perfect. So let's just keep doing some hearts. Try to make them different sizes. And we'll just keep doing them until our paper is full of hearts. And it's going to take us a while because we have to let them dry in between. And then while this is drying, we're going to go in and do the flat brush ones. Okay, let's do a couple more. Okay, we'll do a couple more hearts. Let me know if you try the ones with the Funwi brushes too, because I might do more of those after. We'll start with this, and maybe I'll do another panel of them after. I'm just kind of doing stuff until my sister gets home, because we're going to do a live stream. Not a live stream, like a Zoom call, but I'm just waiting for her to get home. So we're going to just keep painting until I hear from her, and then I will have to say adieu and hop onto Zoom. This is fun. We're just going to keep doing these hearts. I like this idea of just layering the hearts. And then we're going to let them dry. And we'll be good to go. Okay. Perfect. So that's good for now. So let's do some flat brush hearts. Okay, so we're going to mix some more purple here. Perfect. We're going to get some more purple, and we're just going to do what we did before. Just like that, like that. Long ones, short ones. Some as big as your head. Oh, wrong song. So we're going to go down. And that. Just going to do a bunch of these, but we are not going to let them bleed. Okay. Okay, good. So let's just stop those there. And I'm going to, we have space on there. Maybe we could do some more hearts on there while we wait for these to dry. So let me bring in the camera a little more so we can see everything now. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully we'll be able to see the whole panel. I can wiggle it around a little bit. And then we're good to go. I still don't know if the live chats works. Oh, apparently I can try to chat here. Just write Valentine's cards. Cards. Oh, okay, the chat works. There we go, perfect. So let's bring this down. Whoops, I'll move this one over a little bit more. We want to make sure we're in the camera. And let these dry. This is pretty well all I wanted to show you too, so I don't think I'm going to start another panel. We're just going to work with this. There we go. I think we can see those hearts. We'll bring them up a little bit. Now let me play around with that fumu brush again because it's just so darn cool. Okay, we're going to mix up. I'm going to get my other favorite fuchsia with the salt. Okay, let's bring my favorite fuchsia over here. And the sections of my other palette are much bigger, so that's a good thing. Okay, so how can we do this? See, this is such a funny brush. Oh my goodness. You know what I should almost is just get another paper. Let's see what I got. I also have this paper that has more of a tooth to it. So we can try that, you know, let's bring that here so I don't have to let's just use this. This is and it doesn't matter if I tape it down because, look, you can do this type of thing. And then we can do this type of thing. Kind of cool. And then you can just go in and go down. Call them like great hearts, but it's not too bad. But then you can go in and define this a little bit more. Yeah, let me know if you guys figure out how to make hearts with these brushes because they're very interesting. I know Amber has some. She's the one that gave me these. So Amber, maybe you can figure out how to do really nice fumui hearts, we'll call them. There we go. Because right now I'm just playing around with them and I'm not sure if it's any different than using a regular brush, but I mean it's doable, right? Did a heart. We did a heart, didn't we? Okay. Sorry, that was a play on a joke that one of our comedian friends does. There we go. Okay, so there we go. It's interesting. Now, is it too late to put some salt on there? Try it. Why not? Doesn't hurt to try. Okay, now let's try to do another heart. And like I said, these ones I can cut out if I want. So let's do another one. But let's mix a couple of different colors. So look, what happens if I'm going to dip it in the purple, okay, and then I'm going to dip part of it in the magenta. So we actually have two colors. I'm wondering, yeah, see, it's really hard to get much control over these brushes, but I feel like there's some techniques that I might be missing. Kind of go around like that, go like that, because I kind of like the idea of it being a little bit on the abstract side. Yeah, open that up and yeah, do that. Okay. Well, the colors ended up like blending together. Stripping that off. Ending up like making them a little bit more defined. Okay. And then what if we just like, we could put a couple of things of water in there. Then they get really watery. And then what if we just maybe get a bit of the saturated purple. Get some saturated purple. Stick some of these in. That's cool. And then maybe we could get some more saturated in another color. I really like this darker blue. I don't know why I'm so attracted to that darker blue. It's like kind of a rich, deep blue. It's Prussian blue, although he wouldn't call it Prussian blue. He probably has a funny name to call it, because Stuart Semple always gives his paints funny names. There's one that's called like Butt something, and I forget what it is. I lost my paints. I could look it up and see. Anyways, these are a little saturated, so if your paints are saturated, that's a good time to put some salt on there. So that'll help pick up some of the paint, and it'll give it a little bit of texture. There. And we have people in the chat. Hi, Latidra, how are you? Nice that you made it. And Evie, hi Evie, how are you? I started watercolor a month ago. That's wicked. Kristen, yay, you're here. That's awesome. Well, I'll stay on for a few more minutes, Kristen, before we do our Zoom call. I'm so happy you guys are here. So, Latidra, this paper that's here, it's smooth. So this is a hot press 140-pound watercolor paper. I buy the large sheets, and I don't know if you saw at the beginning, but I fold them and cut them. You have to get some food. That's awesome. So I not cut them, I fold them and I tear them. So I get this nice rough edge. And then this one is 140-pound. It's a cheaper like Canson paper. It's from a pad, so 9 by 12 inch cold press watercolor paper, and I cut each sheet into 4, I think. I guess 4, yeah. But this one is Artistico, is the brand name, and I get it at Omer de Serre. This is my 100 times all-time favorite paper that I like to use, because I like the smooth watercolor paper. So if you want a smooth, fine watercolor paper, you need the hot press. And this is cold press, and it's got a texture to it. This is the Canson. So yeah, there's so many different kinds of paper that you can do. So we're gonna put those there, and then I'm gonna go back to these ones because they're dry. So let's put some more hearts and some more of these shapes. So are you painting, Latidra, tonight, or are you just watching? Let me know if you're painting as well. And Evie, if you're painting, let me know. And we're going to go ahead and put some more colors on there. So let's mix up some of the blue. I think you can see my paper here. We're going to mix up some more of that nice, what we think is ultramarine blue. Although it's not called ultramarine blue. I'll find the names for you because they're really funny. I think I've lost the sheet with all the names, so we're gonna see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some of this one. Hopefully it's not too saturated. And now we can go ahead and just add, oh, it's actually not saturated enough. There we go. See, that's the trouble with watercolor. There's a lot of experimentation. And it does take a while to get used to how much water. I would say that's one of the number one things that is hard with watercolor is learning how much water to put in, because you don't want too much, but you want enough. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in and do some short strokes, some long strokes, and you'll see that really nice transparency. And this is so easy because we're just eyeballing it, okay? So let's do maybe a little bit more. Okay, we're good. So we're gonna let that dry, and now let's use the same color and do some hearts. I'm just watching. Nice. Cards tomorrow. Perfect. Well, you can have a look at my, I don't know if you've seen all my YouTube videos, but I do have other videos if you want for how to make cards. And are these Valentine's cards or are these just generic cards? Let me know. Okay, so we're going to mix some more blue. And let's just do some blue hearts. Why not? Hearts can be blue. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do this one. Another one. And try to do them varying sizes so that it's just more interesting when things are different sizes. Asymmetry is always more interesting. So this is cool because see, you can see the hearts underneath. I love the transparency. So we're just going to go with this. I'm going to get maybe a smaller brush. Okay, oops. Sometimes it leaves a bit of a streak. Valentine's, yay! I don't know if I have other Valentine's cards on my channel or not. I might. I'll have to check and see. Okay, so let's do another blue one. But what I'm going to do is, I think I already have a tutorial on how to make the crocheted heart. So I'll link that up below, and what I'm going to do later tonight is I will make a crocheted heart that I'm going to put on this one, because that one looks so cool. And then I'll see what I have in the way of Valentine's tutorials and link them up. I'll make a post in the community section, and I will I'll link up any tutorials. And then if you guys are, whoever isn't a member already of the Heather Boyd Art Facebook page, be sure to join that page and you can share photos of your art in there. That would be great. Okay, so this one looks like it got a little of another color in there. But I'm going to try to get a bit of the saturated ultramarine color. And let's do another one. We're going to do a few hearts. Let's do another one up here. And even if you want it to come off the paper, you can. You can just like say do the bottom of a heart. So we want it to look interesting. So let's just do the bottom of a heart. So it looks like it's going off the paper. Okay. I don't know if that's good or not. We're going to see. I think once everything is done, it's going to look all right. Okay, and then let's do another one since we have the color. What if we do one? Just we're going to mix it here. I haven't decided like how much white paper I want to leave showing too. I'm pretty sure Amber's also done projects with hearts because she posts a lot in the Heather Boyd Art group. So if you want to look there, she usually links up her tutorials that she uses. So definitely go into that group and see. And if there are any she's posted that I think people would be interested in, I'll put them in the community section because I'm always happy to promote other YouTube channels. There we go. Okay. And then maybe we'll do another one down here. Amber's paintings are beautiful. They are beautiful. Yeah, she's very disciplined. Like Amber gets up every morning and paints before she starts her day, which is, it's like people that do journaling and exercise and all that stuff before they even eat breakfast. I'm not so disciplined. I get up, I go to the bathroom, I make my coffee, I drink a glass of water, I drink my coffee and my breakfast, and then I go on social media. So, ha! I am not going to be a motivational speaker too soon. That's for sure. But that's okay. Works for me. So this is good. We're going to leave that here. And let's go back and do another heart while we let those dry a little bit. It's always good to multitask. It's always good to do a bunch of things at once. Look at this cool brush. Maybe we could do a heart with this. This is the fan brush. I don't know if that would be... Let's try it. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how we would do that, but it doesn't hurt. We're here to experiment. This is more for acrylic thing, I think. I don't think fan brushes are... Ooh. Well, it doesn't make a heart, but it's very cool. I like that idea. You can do a painting with that. You can just... I might do some of this on some of my abstract paintings. I like it. The other thing you can do is you can just do a whole, and I've done this before many times, I've done a whole page of abstract, and then you cut out heart shapes. In fact, for a while there, I was doing that. I was like making abstract, and I was cutting out hearts and giving them to people, and I forget how that started. I don't know what that was from, some challenge or something, but yeah, and if you let this dry, we'll go over it again once it's dry a little bit, but I'll post some of those in the community section too. So basically you just get, let me see if I have any. I might already have some. I'll be right back. Let me just go check. So I do a lot of like random paintings, and then I just, whoops, keep them. And then I use the bits to cut out sections. So I'm just gonna look through these. So this was one I did in my friend Serena's program. She has a program called the Art Lovers Academy, and we do a lot of really fun stuff in her class. She's a friend of mine, but I'm in her program as well, and also Kristen and Amber are in that program too. But see, sometimes I just do big pieces of abstract. Let me pull that one out. And this one could be cool for the heart. This one too, look at all this cool stuff. So these are just abstract. And then basically what you would do is, I have too much paint out here. Let me move some of my paint, because this is a lot of stuff. Okay, so let's take a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay, I have a pencil. Paper bead. Yeah, the paper beads are fun too. You could do the hand-painted paper beads. Absolutely. So here's just a random, this is a piece I probably won't use because it's got the writing on it. But it's, so if you want to do some hearts, I actually have a hole punch with hearts, but you can make a pattern. Okay, so we're just going to go here. We're going to make maybe a couple sizes. So we could bring one around here. Okay, around here. And then maybe a smaller one. I'm just eyeballing these. And then we're going to go ahead, cut these out, and actually there's a couple ways you could do this. You could cut it out and use this, or here, let me move this. It's probably going to be better to do it this other way. We're going to go around here, bring it around. I'm just eyeballing it, but you could, make a better, you could cut some heart shapes off the computer and fold them in half and trace them type of thing as well. So what you could do, you can make a stencil. So now this becomes a stencil, right? This I should have maybe brought down a little bit more. But you can take your paper and then you can find which area looks nice for a heart. Like this is kind of cool with a bit of yellow. So then you could go in, whoopee, and you can take your pencil and you can trace it. Okay, this would be great for cards, Latidra. And we're going to go around here. So we have our heart, and we're going to cut the bulk of it out first. It's going to be easier. Like cut around it. Make sure you could see your pencil line. Save your bits because we're going to use them again. And go around and cut inside the pencil line so you don't see the graphite. Just like that. And then write that. Around. Around. And around. And then up. And around. So that makes our super, well, it's not super even. If you have a hole punch with a heart, even better. I do have one. But this, from there, you can go ahead and get some other paper and you can glue them on. You can glue a few of them on. You can layer them. You can put a different color in the background. So this is really fun. So here's a big one. And then let's get a smaller one. And garbage here, baby. What else have we got? We've got this one. This is just on paper. It's not even cardboard, so it's a little easier to cut. But let's go ahead now, and we're going to map out a nice, you just keep looking until you see something you like. Like this is cool. It's got some texture there. I actually like that. It's got some movement and texture. This is a little bit stark. This is kind of interesting. It's got all kinds of going on. I like that. Let's do that one. Okay. Pencil. Around here. And around here. Good. And then keep your stencil. You can reuse that. And scissors. Could you put on wooden earring? Yes. That would be cool. Yeah, you could do that. There's so much you could do with these. You can cut this out and put it on wood, like just superimpose it on wood. I remember when I first moved to Montreal, I had very little money and very little materials, and so I was doing watercolor painting and stuff. But then at one point, I got just magazine pages, little wooden button type things, they were flat wooden pieces, and I would cut magazine pages and glue them. I think they were buttons, and I glued them on the buttons, which is ironic because I'm working with buttons now. But you could do the same with this. You could take this and glue it on a heart-shaped piece of wood, which you can buy on Amazon or maybe Michael's. You can glue them on buttons. I used to make badges, so I would take old badges and I would cover them with fabric that I'd hand painted. So it's life's full circles, eh? It's all stuff that, things come all the way around. Like I used to do a lot of stuff with buttons, and now I'm working with buttons on on my wire channel. So see how cool that is? You've got that. So sky's the limit. And Latidra, if you do this, I can't wait to see your cards. That's really exciting. So sometimes the hardest part is deciding what to do. So let's go back and do another layer on this one. And what layer are we going to do? We've done blue, we've done purple, we've done pink, fuchsia, and we're going to use our square brush. So let's mix up some more color, and we could try a lighter blue this time. Let's try the lighter blue. There is a nice light blue here that I like, It's more like a, here, first I have to, oh, you know what? I'll remove this. I have another section here that I can use that I haven't used yet. So I'll just mix up some, it's kind of a, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like a kind of a sky blue. Let's use that. And hopefully it's a good consistency. We're gonna try that. So I'm gonna get some of this, and then now we're gonna go in and, yeah, it's just a different kind of blue. This one's gonna end up being more blue than anything. Let's bring that right down, okay? And then we're gonna do some, and it's very pale, like that, and like that. And you know what, if there's some white, maybe it's not a big deal. I don't mind if there's a bit of white showing. Almost looks like plaid, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, definitely looks like plaid. That would be fun to try a plaid. I've done plaid with acrylic paint, but it would be fun to try plaid with watercolor. Okay, so let's do some more hearts, but why don't we do some with this color heart? That'd be fun. Okay. Let's do a little bit more here. There we go. We'll go for another 10 minutes or so. 10-15 minutes, and then I'm going to hop on Zoom with my sister, who's out west. I could ask Patricia, my friend Patricia is out west too, but I think she's pretty busy. Now this is a little bit, ended up being not so turquoise, but that's okay. We're gonna just see what we can do here. Okay. Just want some nice transparency. Okay. And I don't know if you guys know, if I've talked about it on my Wire channel, but I've been watching a show called the Portrait Artist of the Year. And if you like art, it's a great show. It's on Amazon Prime, and it's really, really interesting. You get to see different styles of painting and stuff, people that do portraits. And yeah, it's a really, really great show, so I highly recommend that if you're looking for a show to watch at night. So we're gonna do this. I'm just gonna bring that one in here. I don't know how many hearts I'm gonna put on here. This one's just like the top of a heart. I'm just trying to do a few, I'm not sure I love this blue. Ooh, okay, I don't know what happened here. I dipped my brush by mistake. I didn't mean to do that. So I'm just gonna lift some of that up. That's weird. I meant to dip it on the towel and I dipped it on the palette. So let's just get a little bit more blue. Okay, and we're gonna do, maybe get a smaller brush. Okay, get a smaller brush. And then I want to try that fan brush a little bit more too. Okay, so we're going to do maybe one over here. And you can do half a heart. Okay, we'll just do half a heart. Why not? Yeah, I haven't decided how much I want to layer here, but let's do one more actually. Over here. Here. Perfect. Okay, now maybe we'll put one more color over here, and let's try the fan brush with this color. Whoopsies, some of my salt came off. It's alright, I just took some off. It wasn't really ready to come off though, so I'll wait till it's dried to do more. So I'm just dipping my fan brush in the blue, and let's try a little more over here. See, it makes a nice little. Yeah, I would advise if you're doing the fan brush, maybe let it dry in between colors. So I'm gonna let that dry, and then this would be something that would be fun to cut hearts out of as well. Okay, so let's do one more color in here. I'm almost tempted to go like opposite and do yellow in there, although I don't know if that's just going to make a hot mess. So let me just mix up a yellow and see how it's going to look, because I think my palette might be a little too muddy for that. So So I'm just going to clean this off. I think I'm going to get clean water as well, because right now my water's very dirty. Okay, I'm going to clean that. I'm going to clean that up. Okay. And let me just clean my palette, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna get my water. Okay, so now I'm going to get my clean brush and mix up some clean yellow. Sometimes it's nice to have some colors that are outside of the family of colors that you're using. So now you want to really clean your brush though, especially with the yellow, because it's going to get muddy. And I'll get some yellow on my brush and I might regret it, but you don't know until you try. So we're going to do a little bit of yellow. Which is alright. It's not amazing, but it gives it a little bit of a punch. Okay, so we're just going to go right there. And like that. And like that. Yeah, I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. There, that's good. Let's not overdo it. So we just put a little yellow to give it a bit of a punch. I'm not sure what this is doing here. Oh, oof. That's gonna dry anyways. So that's for fun. It's very subtle. And let's do something here. I'm not sure I want to put yellow on there, but let's see what we can do on there. If you even want to do more hearts. I'm going to get a smaller brush. And yeah, I don't want to do green or anything, but maybe a different color of blue. Maybe this darker blue that I like. Let's try that. We can try that. No, I'm thinking maybe more red, because Valentine's is more red. But let me just, I'm going to check the other reds that I have before I commit to it. This one's kind of cool. It's quite a saturated red. It's like an orangey red, but I'm not opposed to it. So why don't we try it? Okay, since it is Valentine's, we're just going to put some other colors of red. Let's do a bigger one. Okay, we need a bigger red one. Okay, there we go. I'll just do another red. And okay, around. There we go. Around. Red. Salt shouldn't be on there. I'm not sure about this red. Yeah, I think maybe we're getting too much layering. But this is just for fun. This isn't for my cards for the gallery. I'm just going to do it for fun, because if you don't try it, you don't know. So there's just a little too much. A little too much. I think I would have quit while I was ahead. But that's the thing. You don't know until you try. So we're just going to do a bunch of more hearts. And I think we'll not worry too much about it. I mean, you could also just do layer reds on reds too. That might be interesting. Just to do, like, say you just did a bunch of like red hearts on top of each other, you could also do that. Bring that one around. I could try that too. Like, even if I don't have time now, I could just do that. Like, maybe later, just do a bunch of red hearts on top of each other. Could be cool. Oops, I got a hair on there. That's the trouble with these brushes. I think even high quality brushes, you can't avoid it. They'll just shed eventually. So I'm just going to keep going. And maybe do another one. Yeah. I don't think I like this idea as much, but you never know until you try. Oh, I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Okay, so what have we got? Maybe we'll do one more fan thing, and then I think we're going to leave it for now. I'm going to let everything dry, and then I'm going to link up any tutorials for the, I'm going to do the crocheted heart. I'm going to do something on these, and then I'm going to maybe cut these ones out and do something with them. And let's do one more color on top of here, maybe purple. So let me, oh, here's, I've got the purple here. And then we'll just do that with the fan brush. And then we're good. And then I'll flip the screen and say goodbye. And then I'm going to make a cup of tea and go hop on with Kristen. Where's my fan brush? Here it is. So we're going to get some purple on the fan brush. And we're just going to, I mean, it's not that contrasty either. Maybe we need more contrasty colors. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to let that dry. So we have a lot to contemplate here, what we're going to do. This I took it one step too far. So maybe what I'll do is I'll back up the video and screenshot what was there before, because this I went too far. The other ones I can do stuff with. And then I'm going to flip the screen and say goodbye. I don't know if anybody is left. Whoopsies. And then let's just bring this around. That one. Yep. And there's our basement. Oops. There we go. Okay, guys, so thank you so much. Thanks, Latidra. I'm so happy that you were able to hop on and that you got a few ideas. If I find any other ideas for the heart cards, I'll send them your way and I'll link them up in the description below the video. So have an amazing night. Have fun making your cards. Be sure to send me some pictures and we'll see you guys the next time. Okay, bye.